Hey, stream's kinda back. There we go. All green again. What I was trying to say was the game does have full voice acting, I believe, but I believe the devs are Korean, and so's the voice acting. So, I would much rather have it be in English. So, that's just kind of my own stance. Maybe I can struggle against you. Oh, quick stagger. Nice. So you're definitely doing that. Let me actually set that. I don't have a great option. Yeah, none of these I'm coming out on top. I'll just go for the dash and hope for the best. You on the meanwhile... You have 7... This is probably my best bet. What animals scare me the most? Honestly, I hate bugs. Like, I do make an exception for, say, like, in games they aren't too bad. Like, I've loved Hollow Knight to pieces, and then, like, I'm reminded of these bugs from one section of Resident Evil 4, and those were fine. Ouch! That was a tough one. Good lord. But otherwise, I feel like a lot of the typical scary animals, like sharks and bears, there's just a lot less chances of actually running into them in the wild. Especially since I'm an introvert. I can't remember what percent of Hollow Knight I'm on. It might be 111. Like, the last thing on my list is just to finish, like, the arenas. I think the, like, final grand arena with every boss back-to-back, including the harder versions of the others, is a little too much. So... Ew. Yeah, she's got some powerful blunt skills, and I'm gonna need to hard focus her, I think. Then her friends... Just boost Pierce or slash damage. I'd like someone with half-decent, blunt resistance. Do I have a team? Same team as before. Okay. I did. I think Nightmare King Grim, did take the longest for me to defeat. Like, probably a solid hour or two of grinding. Oh, Elena and Roland don't... I fucked up. I really fucked up. Oh, jeez. Okay, what is going to happen here? I think the only boss that I have yet to beat is the, like, upgrade of the final boss that's available, in the final arena. I think I just need to go for the double team. I'm gonna go down, aren't I? Maybe I can Alchemist. You can Gut Artist, I guess? Yep, you're down. Who is their favorite character? If I die on floor 2... Okay, it does let me jump in with a different squad. I did not know that. Carnivore, and theirs is Quirrell. Yeah, they're... I think just hearing Cornifer's little whistle tune, or hum tune rather, as you're getting somewhere, as you're just getting lost, it's always the most pleasant feeling. Let's commandeer you and commandeer you. There we go. And I see that their health carries over from the last round as well. Win hits. What are you doing? 3 to 5? This will be a gamble, but I think it might pay off. Meanwhile, at bare minimum doing... Let's get the guaranteed kill. Oh my god, those two are doing nothing to each other. There we go. So, both are going up against me, or Rogan. I think just to bait your attacks, let's do that, and then let's toss in you as well. I need to bring you down. That's okay. Perfect. Yeah, I saw that coming. Yikes. You really want to bring Rogan down. And what's your current skill? 3 hits. A good evade and you're done. Meanwhile... you can just go pure offense. Shit. Hippos scare me the most. Oh, that worked out. Sharks are not as murderous as media makes them out to be. Bears are chill if you keep away from the babies. Oh yeah, hippos will fuck you up. I've heard a lot of situations where that happens. Like, I think of most regular animals, they're up there. Most either have a good temperament, or I wouldn't also like to not go up against a lion or panther, because I feel like if I were to get into a fight with one, they would not back down. But like, I think black bears in specific, if it's black, fight back. If it's brown, lie down. If it's white, good night, I think is the mnemonic device. Like, black bears are cowards. Brown bears pray that they don't care about you. Okay. Yeah, and polar bears will just end you. Lots of Backstreet Fixer volumes, plus Lulu. Are you feeling guilt or any strong emotions? I'd be lying if I said I feel nothing, but I've already seen plenty of these cheap tragedies. Been the victim myself a whole lot of time too. You sound like a seasoned veteran for someone who's introduced himself as a washed-up fixer. I have my reasons. What, are you curious? You said it's a rude thing to do, didn't you? Besides, I could simply turn you into a book and read your story if I really wanted to know. Whoa now, let's not go there yet. Yet? Lions and panthers can back down if you strike their eyes and necks. Yeah, and I think sharks you can also go for the eyes, but I think there is still just a general weight limit where if you're up against something fairly large like a hippo or polar bear, you're not going to be able to do much of anything to them. They could step on you and you'll die. Well, how about you? I'm curious to know what our head librarian thinks. Me? Indifferent. I've also seen relationships and scripted deaths too many times in repeat. So I've been trying to run a system where people are free to choose their own destiny this time around, free from any coercion. Hippos don't care. Same with honey badgers. Like, I don't think I'd die to a honey badger, but they would fuck me up. I mean, sure, they all read the warnings on the invitations and agreed to those terms by signing their names, but it's still a bit dirty, you know? You're unkillable, and I can revive whenever I die. Again with that, I thought you said my method is fair. Yeah, you aren't wrong. Much more polite and fair than most things in the city. Hate their little legs that can support them. Nature be scary sometimes. Like, why do so many things have poison or venom to them? Why does a platypus need to have venomous claws? And why is it only, like, the dudes? Or is it just the girls? I never remember. Platypi are fucking weird. Oh, I'm good to unlock the next, trauma thing for Hod. But first, let's burn some books and see how well these look. Ooh, Lulu's page. That's really good. Like, yeah, everything about that is really good. Like, this one, dealing damage to yourself is kind of obnoxious. But I'm definitely putting Lulu in. Also an early bad joke jail. It's also a Spider-Man villain. We can... Oh, I never actually geared you up for anything. That's fine. So, you get to be Lulu. And you'll get some for really good cards. I don't know exactly what will be waiting for me in there, so let's... Where was her, like, big block card? Where did I see that? Here we go. That just seems like a really good card. And Fleet Footsteps as well for the evasion coverage. Evasion with some damage. Bind reduces their speed. Yeah. No worries about random questions. I'm totally down for that. This is just a good card too. But no harm in spicing up the streams with some random questions. I feel like I can do another, like... Just 2 strength for next scene, that could be useful. Going first is good, same with multi-hits. Let's do that. So, my understanding of the emotion levels is there's 2 main things to keep in mind with it. The higher the enemy's emotion levels, which can be raised by all sorts of things happen, like they knock out one of my guys, or I knock out one of them, or maybe someone gets broken. The higher their emotion, the more of their books I get at the end of the fight. So if I can purposefully build that up a little bit, I'll get better rewards. And for me, if my emotions get high enough, I get those really fancy cards that just kind of appear at the start of a turn sometimes, and apply passive bonuses. Which ones appear depends on how positive or negative my emotions have been so far. Today's shy look. I don't like his face. I feel great bathing in the warm and cozy sunshine. The kid still hides behind mask. Gotta be considerate of its mood. Expression. Dice gain different amounts of power depending on the current face. Huh. So it'll have hella guard. And it might stagger me with that too. I need something big to go out swinging. Or I can use this, pair up with set fire next round. There we go. Yeah, I'm kind of seeing those vibes too. Today's expression. Just raw damage. I'm not expecting to win that first match. Let's go down swinging. Yeah. Nice little bit of fire damage. And again. I might be able to burst him down a little. I have played Undertale. Quite a lot of it, actually. I think I've done, like, 2 runs each of True Pacifist and Genocide. I really need to guard. Let's do that. Oh, that... I was not expecting to come out on top there. But I think as long as I live this turn, he'll die to burn. But between Undertale and Deltarune, I think they are kind of some of my favorite games. Oh, I don't have enough of that. What the fuck do you want? I guess this is my only option. I suppose I could have done nothing. But it's fine. Yeah. I definitely see what you mean about feeling bad, and they make you feel bad. I don't know if you've actually, like, watched a playthrough of it or anything. But I do remember just going through that for the first time. When it came out, I think I was still in, like, freshman year of college at the time. But great game, and I'm anxiously awaiting Chapter 3 of Deltarune. Maybe I could stream those. Alright, here's the books you asked for. Thanks, Mr. Roland. No need to be so courteous. You can drop the Mr. and just call me Roland. Can I? Roland. Much better. It feels kinda awkward to speak like this right away. You'll get used to it. How's the collection going, by the way? I'm not sure if the city has anything that's worth being called literature. It seems like each person's life counts as a work of literature. The story of one's life is written out like a book of its own. First time playing Undertale, didn't tell anyone, spent hours trying a way to not kill him. Yeah, like, I accepted my fate pretty quickly on that one. But I was one of those people who, against Toriel, second playthrough too. Against Toriel, my first run, I had accidentally killed her, because I remembered the one piece of advice being like, hey, if you're having trouble breaking through, why not try beating them up a little and soften them up? Yeah, they prepare for that. But honestly, the second playthrough, True Pacifist, and the second Genocide playthrough, was playing for my girlfriend at the time. Like, I'm happy to replay games for other people. I don't know if I'll do, like, full game replays for stuff on stream, since, you know, I'd like to get through my backlog. But, I'm no stranger to playing through games a second time. Even for my own enjoyment. And in that story, comedy and tragedy intertwine in a complex way. It's hard to define anyone as pure evil, or pure good for that matter. Everyone has their own personal affairs. That's why I'm wondering if it's really okay to blindly hate someone. The fixers from the streetlight office were like a happy family, but we killed them just to get their books. I understand that it was their choice to come here, and we have our own goal to achieve, but still, if I replay a game, it's usually to do a challenge run. Yeah, I get that. Or at the very least, kind of pick up stuff you missed, or just try a totally different build. Like, I replayed Sekiro fairly recently, and I think that one for me, I was able to do a lot more of the optional content. Like, there were some notable sections that I missed on my first playthrough. But, oh, have you been struggling with the puzzles? Like, honestly, don't worry too much about it. Some of the Koroks especially, I have just solved by doing long bridge, where I just build up a singular line of logs, or like those boards you find around the kingdom, until you can just kind of lift them across to where you need to go. Like, much as they prioritize it, I have unfortunately not been doing as much building as I probably could. Like, it almost feels like Breath of the Wild, and I'm using a lot more fuse than Ultra Hand. But, I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm glad it's there for when I need it, but I'm happy to go without it. Like, I rarely even use horses. I'm not going to make myself a cart. Haha, it feels like I'm just making excuses for myself. You see, Hod, taking everyone's personal affairs into consideration is only going to end up giving you a headache. Yeah, but I usually do it at shrines, like I complete them, it takes forever. Yeah, I feel like there was 1 or 2 shrines I had done recently where what I was doing was more complicated than it needed to be. But it works out in the end, I think. I'm starting to get a lot of the mechanics that they're tossing at me. Oh, yeah. Long stick plus long stick. Long stick. Or long stick. But, I have gotten myself some absurdly powerful weapons that have just put me above 50 damage already. Though I have been exploring in places that might be a little bit too strong for me at the moment, so take it with a grain of salt. I guess my only real complaint so far is that a lot of these shrines feel like they're intended to be tutorials for the different, like, things you can build with Ultra Hand. But since I don't have much personal incentive to use them outside of solving the puzzles, I don't know. I just feel like there could be more of the other kinds of puzzle shrines, or even like a combat shrine. There was one that I found that takes away your gear and gives you like some basic weapons and stuff to get through a room of enemies. I thought that was really cool. A real big improvement over the combat shrines from Breath of the Wild. You'd sometimes be just as confused as you had if you hadn't thought about it at all. Thinking about moral standards and fundamental causes and all that only makes everything blurry. All the while, your heart is about to burst from the emotional baggage that won't go away. In times like that, you just go straight to where your heart leads. No need to learn or know any further. It's much easier that way. That's your advice as a seasoned fixer, Roland? I guess so. Here's a favorite phrase of mine. That's that, and this is this. We don't live in a world that can embrace everyone's private matters. Sounds like you've come to terms with reality. It did ages ago. It was surely an easy and comfy way to live, all things considered. Just go with the flow wherever it may lead. Thanks for the advice. I might need to think about this topic a little more. But? The phrase you mentioned might give you comfort for a short while, but it doesn't sound like a model that will redeem your life. Well, I suppose people have their own way of interpreting things. I'll leave the books here. See you later, then. Problem with playing so many Souls, like... Yep, I totally get that. Like, I'm kind of used to the, like, regular dodges, just because I wouldn't say I've 100%ed Breath of the Wild, I'm not that insane, but I have played a lot of it. So it's easier for me to kind of shift into that method. But I think most of my deaths have come from trying to take on a challenge that's too strong for me, and I just get one shot. One sunny day, just like that day, they sincerely dried the laundry, they dried their own skin. Single ally. Librarian's face constantly shifts. Dice gain different amounts of power depending on the current face. Min -2, max +2. Anger is fierce. Single ally. Block dice gain 1 to 2 power and deal +2 to 7 stagger power on deflect. I see, so I guess blocking is generally recommended over evading with these, with this particular floor. If one tries to look at the face behind the skin, the results will not be pretty. The space behind their skin is the only personal space they have left. Leaving it uninvaded is the last bit of generosity the city can offer. Shyness. When using a page, all block dice on that page gain power equal to the dice. Wait, using page, all that block dice gain power equal to the number of defensive dice on said page. Oh, so if it's like a card that's just 3 defense, all of them get +3. That's pretty nice. Yeah, like, I think I actually played it on Wii U at first. Kind of went through and beat the story back when it first came out because I didn't get a Switch at launch. I think it mentions... Xbox here. Let me look it up real quick. Library of Ruina. Yes, it also came to Xbox One. But, and I played a little bit on Switch when I finally got my Switch, but I don't think I ever finished that playthrough. But I did go and do... Actually, no, I did finish it so that I could play the DLC. But, I think my most intensive playthrough was on Master Mode. Oh, I've been upgraded to Urban Legend. New chapter, and I savor the magnificent fragrance of the sacrifice which fills my room. Yeah, this is shaping up to be a long one. Thumb Southern Base meeting room. Tell me, who do you think will be the one to get through all this mist and claim the collapsed nest in the end? It's hard for me to predict the outcome of this event, Underboss. It's been a while since we were involved in the bloodshed of this scale. However, it's certain that we should not allow the Index to take over the yoke. Well said. The middle, the ring, and the pinky seem to be too occupied with their own business to take part in this strife, so that's a relief. I'm guessing there's a, organization, or whatever they were called, for each of the fingers? Or are they all one organization? Have you heard of the library, a recently appointed urban legend? Perhaps it will be closely related to this nest we're so concerned with. Go on. I guess people are after us. Looks like we're about to ride a real big wave. What wave? At this rate, the library will soon be exalted from being an urban legend from its status as an urban myth. The city is brimming with cheap urban myths. It's really hard to tell which ones are real and which ones are all made up. What's more, a lot of those urban myths turn out to be pretty plain and boring when you get down to the root of it all. The real fun begins with when an urban myth gets recognized as an urban legend. You're being too roundabout. If the associations designate us with a higher grade, we can expect to attract guests of larger classes with more valuable information. Is that what you're trying to say? You got it. Urban legends get talked about, people will begin to acknowledge us as an actual phenomenon in the city that's worth their attention. You see, when I was a kid, my grandma used to tell me tales of all sorts of urban legends. They would always send a chill down my spine. Ah, bugger. Didn't want to be reminded of the old days. Family? Yeah, a family. I lost them all, though. Do you remember all the books in the Duke's archives? As in, like, the giant, like, cylindrical room with all of the books in it? Like that giant library room? Yeah, I recall that one. So you're without a family now? No one's with me anymore. I was raised by my grandma. Don't know how my parents passed away, and Grandma disappeared without notice one day. Maybe she's a book here. And then... never mind. It's nothing special. What were you even trying to say? Anyway, you said your goal is to get this one book that'll give you freedom, right? That's right. I want the freedom to leave this place, and the freedom to live as myself. And the freedom to forget. Then is freedom the only reason you're trying to gather all these books? You're only half right. During my time living underground, I could only pick up fragmented information about the outside world. If Seath was blind, were all the books in Braille? Love asking the important questions. I mean, Seath was in league with Gwyn at the end of the day, so I feel like it wouldn't be necessary for all the books to be in Braille, because he at least had friends who could read. I also don't know if those books were even large enough to be read, because Seath was a big boy. I'm sure, like, his ability to read Braille is severely impacted. I feel like just putting down a single finger, I guess, or tentacle or something, would take up the entire page. So unless he's got really good sense of touch, I don't know if Seath could even read Braille. I've seen and heard the same stories over and over and over again. I wanted to hear new stories now. I want to see new faces. I mean, we could see that he flew down to his little hidey hole where you fought him. It was an open enough space getting in, but the Archives building itself... Yeah, hard to say. Oh, true. Yeah, someone could have read to him. That wouldn't be a problem. That's also why I'm looking for a book that contains everything about the world. And a little bit of revenge at the same time. Revenge, huh? For what? I'm taking revenge on the abominable person and world that made me into what I am. Only after I've completely and thoroughly destroyed everything he dreamed for will my freedom finally be whole. So you'll eventually get the freedom and vengeance you want if we keep following where this red invitation leads us to? It will guide me to the book that will let me achieve such things, to be exact. How exactly those wishes will come true is beyond me. The one book that will complete me in the library. If I can find that one absolute book containing everything I want to know, all will be resolved. Wait, hold on. That's your whole plan? Just find the book? You don't know exactly how to earn that freedom and stuff? The only thing I know for sure is that I myself will become whole at the end of the journey led by the invitation. The library has infinite space. I could extract infinite books from countless guests and store them all here if I wanted to. But simply collecting books that are mostly filled with junk without a clear purpose in mind is rather inefficient, don't you think? Hence the invitation's guidance along the path that leads to the book I wish to obtain, as I explained before. Let's say that you got the one book somehow, but you don't even know what it'll exactly do to you to make you whole? I don't care what happens to me, I'll be satisfied with anything as long as I can get the results. It's almost scary how tenacious you are. Oh, this is a new floor. Netzach, librarian of the arts. Is lying flat on the floor, huh? Netzach casts a glimpse at Roland while still lying on the floor before turning back again. Huh, the books are all over the floor too. I'm sensing zero motivation to work. Hello, Mr. Netzach, patron librarian? If you recall, Guinevere was the Goodview lady, Lord Gwyn's daughter. Gwyn pretty much gave her hand in marriage after the Dragon War ended as thanks. Crossbreed Priscilla was their child, but Lord Gwyn hated her and created the painting world. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I also wonder how well Guinevere would be able to read on account of her also being quite large, but that could have just been, that might be related to the whole illusion put up by Gwyndolin. When Lord Gwyn reignited the first flame, Guinevere escaped and Orlando and Seath. Interesting. I mean, I could see why she may want to escape on account of her child being locked away, but was there any other reason for her to flee Anne Orlando? But to keep appearances, Gwyndolin, son of Gwyn, made the mirage. Okay, yeah. That much I was aware of. If you keep refusing to cooperate, Angela's gonna raise hell with me. Please wake up. Know how it feels to give everything you got to make something, only to see it completely break? I tried so hard building a sandcastle, and it got swept away by the waves. Safety mainly implied that she didn't want to be with Steve. Yeah, that's fair. Arranged marriages suck. And I bet it was Angela who made those waves. I was woken up once again, called on to take charge of the work I don't want yet again. Leave me alone for a bit, I want to go back to sleep. Boy oh boy, how could every one of you hate Angela so much? Please help me out, will ya? We're in the same boat, you know. He barely sits up. You're pitiable, man. How'd you end up in a place like this? I know, right? I think I'm in a pretty miserable spot, too. Try not to imagine Seath and Guinevere together. Ugh. I don't want to think about Seath in that way. I'm not a scaly. Or furry, for that matter. Don't want to consider these things. So can you please spare some of that sympathy for us working hard together? You probably already know, but I'm Netzek, librarian of the artsy floor. And a proper introduction from me as well. I'm Roland, Angela's servant and library worker. Gotta wonder, how am I always left with the kind of work that doesn't suit me at all? You tell me. Never thought I'd work in the library of all places either. Anyway, you're going to be sorted books relating to the arts from the bunch I bring, right? Apparently. Can you go back now since we're done exchanging names and all? He lies back down on the floor again. Look, you can lie down all you want, but you're gonna do your work, right? Glowing figures look like forest children. Yeah, no, not the Mitama. I can imagine them as, like, some of the shadows in Persona 5 / demons in Shin Megami Tensei. Kodama, that's what they were, Kodama. But yeah, little spiritual beings. It's not like I have a choice in the matter. I'm counting on you. Please make sure to work, alright? He shoos Roland away. Floor of Art. And there's a new thing here to do. But I think I'm going to save that for next stream. It's getting a little late, still need to eat dinner and all that. And it is a work night. I'm only going off the name of those things from what I remember from Persona. I'm not even sure if they're called Kodama in Ghibli. But me personally, I'm more of a Howl's Moving Castle kind of guy, so grain of salt. I only watched Mononoke once. But either way, thanks for coming and vibing with me, man. I always appreciate it. I probably not going to stream on Friday, because I'm getting some paints after work. Then either Saturday or Sunday, just depends on how I'm feeling and if anything else comes up. But I hope to see you then. You have a good one, man.